Hello and welcome everybody inside Legacy Center located in Brighton, Michigan. I'm Veronica Bolanos alongside Jarrett Mackey. We welcome you to the Detroit City FC taking on Cleveland Force SC. Jarrett.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those weird kind of nights here for Detroit City FC. Moving the match away from Keyworth Stadium due to air quality concerns. The AQI was a little bit too high to make sure we could have a good fan base out, healthy for the teams as well. So we're here inside at the Legacy Sports Complex in Brighton for the last quote-unquote home match of the season for Detroit City FC. And now we will take a look at the Detroit City FC starting 11. Not too much change. You've seen a lot of these faces before this season. Francis, Addison, Martin up top. A lot of different strikers up there. You have the pace of Addison, as well as, her ability to run in behind, as well as Martin and Francis, who've caused problems for back lines all season.
Certainly, and then Karolak slides back into the defensive line. Good to have her back alongside Sulis. And you've got your usual suspects, Jarrett, ready to make an impact here after a tough loss against Flint City AFC, looking to not only rebound, but after facing some adversity, looking to get one back. Yeah,
most certainly. And, considering the fact that this is, quote-unquote, a home game, this obviously still counts for the Pride Raiser campaign for 2023. So hopefully we see some goals tonight this evening. And should be a wacky night, but we really appreciate all the fans that made the trip out to Brighton on a last minute's notice to come out and support the Detroit City FC women's side.
Certainly, we've got a great matchup on our hands here tonight.
And Detroit City FC has seen this Cleveland Force team twice already this season, both on the road on the campus of Case Western University at DeSanto Field, and both times in that match, Detroit City FC came out on top. The first time, a 2-0 scoreline, and most recently, Kenna White was able to find the difference in that match on the road. So a chance here for Detroit City FC to end the season on a strong note before going to AFC Ann Arbor this weekend and actually ending their 2023 USL League campaign.
Certainly, and both matches were a testament of DCFC's attacking strengths, their ability to, like you said, get in behind the defense, put one in the back of the net, also important. The first game that they played, 1-2-0, and both times they shut out Cleveland, so probably looking to do the same exact thing here tonight.
And the thing with that is Cleveland had some dangerous chances in both of those matches. Cleveland was able to ask questions of the Detroit City FC back line. And that second matchup, Dayton Waymer had a really impressive save in the first half before subbing out at halftime. Madison Vukas was able to hold out that clean sheet. And then a couple weeks prior, it was Gabby Shriver who answered the call on a couple of occasions to make sure Detroit City FC kept that clean sheet. And we'll look to do that again here today while putting goals in the back of the net and the Pride Raiser campaign strong and end the season from quote-unquote home yet again on a strong note as we see the teams out of their huddles getting ready for the start of this match.
Certainly, as we're now just seconds away from kickoff, referees taking the field. And the thing about Cleveland is they may not have shown throughout the season that, they are a powerhouse up top, but the thing is they can frustrate teams on the defensive end. They held Flint City AFC to a 1-0 win. I'm sure Flint would have liked to get more goals, but they are really sound defensively as they kick off here. Detroit City FC taking on Cleveland Force SC.
And Cleveland Force SC currently has a record of 1-0-10, 1 win, no draws, and 10 losses. Their one win was sort of a shock. It came over Midwest United FC, who every single year in this W League, UWS, whatever league it is, whatever three letters are called the league, Midwest seems to be up near the top. So it's a really impressive win for Cleveland, as we see an early shot just to maybe test the legs a little bit. Interesting note for Cleveland's roster this evening, only 12 players traveled, so really no one to look to on the bench. And Veronica, we were kind of talking in pregame, a little warm inside here at the Legacy Sports Complex.
Yeah, it's about as hot in here as it is outside, Jarrett, and that is no joke. I mean, you can kind of feel the heat and humidity. Yes, it is in an enclosed area, but really you can feel the heat as much as you can outside. And for the ARs, not a lot of real estate on the sides as well, so they're going to be making some tight calls as well. Certainly something to keep an eye on. I've reffed in this facility before, and you can feel the humidity, and you just got to be, careful. That's something they've been playing with all season, though, really. as Cleveland will look to get something going on the right-hand side. Referee will pull that one back for the first offsides call of the game. About a minute and a half in.
That would have been about 10 seconds sooner. It would have lined up perfectly with your talk about how little room the ARs have on this side of the field. Detroit City FC looking to start off this match strong. Veronica, a lot of the games we've called this season, there's been early goals at home for Detroit City FC this season. And I'm going to keep mentioning, if you're viewing, tuning in for the first time, really don't pay attention on socials. This is a home match as we see an error for the Detroit City FC back line. Schreiber has to get back to her spot quickly.
Cleveland will look to get something going here. They maybe had a dangerous spot on the 18-yard line as a cross comes in, headed straight into Schreiber's hands as she looks to break out early for her team.
Great save by Schreiber, and immediately just lays it on the ground for Madison Duncan to run on that far side touchline. We see Addison, we've seen that a lot this season, dropping a little bit deeper to get more involved in the play and letting strikers run beyond her.
That's really been a, and look at the wheels on. It was a tough tackle there for Francis. And last time DCFC played Cleveland, I thought Francis looked really good offensively. She didn't get a goal, but she had a couple good looks. And she does a really good job at creating space for herself. She just needs to get the shot off quicker.
Adele Francis, of course, starting her career as a Michigan State Spartan in the fall. A couple Spartans on this broadcast right now. The dynamism she's brought to this Detroit City FC team got to excite Jeff Hostler and the recruits that brought her in for this upcoming season.
Certainly be an exciting season for them as Cleveland again down the left-hand side. Schreiber with the grab. And Schreiber's looked really sharp these opening minutes. She's had to, not too many dangerous opportunities, but still opportunities nonetheless for Cleveland.
And that's a dangerous position, because, if you're Schreiber in that position, you don't know if the cross is going to come in or if it's going to be a shot. On that occasion, it looked like it was a shot, a powerful one that skipped off the turf just a little bit, but Schreiber was there to answer the call and keep the match at 0-0 early on here at Legacy Sports Complex.
And it'll be interesting to see Stefan, Paget, and Bloomquist working together in the mid. I really like the pairing between Paget and Bloomquist. I think they work really well together in the midfield. They know each other's locations. They can find each other really well. And Bloomquist, as always, has a really good opportunity to determine the pace of play.
Yeah, you'd be hard-pressed to find a midfielder that doesn't, become better play next to Sydney Bloomquist. She's that kind of player in the team, that sort of the engine that gets things going, links up play well, and we see a great ball there. Detroit City FC having some possession in Cleveland's half here early on.
Martin playing up top tonight. Great through ball there to Francis. Francis barely keeps it in. Still has the ball, opts to play it back. Cross comes in. Wanted to find Addison, but no luck.
That'll be a corner kick, I believe, the first time this evening. It's going to be Sydney Bloomquist that's going to run over there to take this one. You're going to have to believe us on that one, folks. Not the best sight lines here at Legacy Sports Complex. Great work over there by Zach, the cameraman, to get this corner here. Sydney Bloomquist going to play right for the ball into the area.
Cross comes in. Cleveland able to head it out.
Pruss just kind of throws a boot at it. It was Pruss who got the assist on the only goal last time Detroit City FC saw Cleveland Force on the road on that occasion.
And you really like to see Pruss get involved in the in the offense for DCFC tonight. They have a nice spell of possession here. Let's see, Schreiber plays it to Addison.
Stefan now able to get things back to Karolak before resetting all the way back to Schreiber. Detroit City FC, they've played out of the back all season. We've seen them, we've seen it bite them at times, but they're still dedicated to it. They still want to play that way, and it's a really modern and sort of new way to play the game that we see all over the world in the sport of football.
And I really like, you're already kind of seeing it so far this game. You have some of the forwards dropping back to collect the balls. Great way to keep possession going. A great step there by Stefan, but it'll be called back for a foul. Referee said she clipped the Cleveland player. It
was one of those 50-50 ones, could have gone either way on that occasion. A good call from the referee. These games have been pretty clean between these two sides. Detroit CFC has played a clean game all season. We'll see a look at it there. Yeah, just a little bit too late from Stefan right there. went into the ball. Just, again, a 50-50 that could have gone either way.
And I think it was the follow-through as Francis blocked that one. A potential opportunity there, but cleared by Cleveland.
And that's just a little glimpse about how dangerous the Detroit City FC front line can be when you have Francis, when you have Addison, both sort of pressing the center backs and causing problems for the Cleveland back line.
Addison with a nice flick there, but nobody to collect behind her. As DCFC pressing, now they get possession back. How about Martin with the rollover, still with the ball, crosses it with the left foot all the way to the Cleveland goalkeeper.
Yeah, you kind of saw what she was trying to do right there. I believe that was her fellow Bronco making that run in the area, but just a little bit too close to the keeper. And I mentioned in the open, props to Detroit City FC for getting this game underway, but also props to Cleveland for coming out here, agreeing to do this so we can see this match play and put on a show for the fans as well as those watching on YouTube.
Certainly lucky that this broadcasting game was made possible. Not everybody was so lucky. Ann Arbor canceled both their men's and women's games today, so very fortunate that we could be here at the Legacy Center in Brighton, about 45 miles from the normal stomping grounds that is Keyworth Stadium, but still fans showing their support here tonight. That'll go out for a DCFC throw.
Detroit City FC photographer John DeBoer takes a ball right there on the touch line. I don't think that hit a lens of his, maybe just bounced off, as you see him right there. All the beautiful shots you see of Detroit City FC coming from that man's lens right there. DeBoer as Detroit City FC gets play back underway. And just, you mentioned it, shout out to the fans for coming out, showing out, and supporting this women's team. The sound kind of stays in, so I'm sure it's a somewhat intimidating atmosphere for those players down on the pitch from Cleveland.
And shout out to all the Detroit fans and everybody in the area that traveled, but also a great opportunity for people on in the Brighton area and the surrounding area to go see a team that maybe they otherwise wouldn't have been able to.
And thanks for those watching on YouTube as well. Stick around, subscribe to the Detroit City FC YouTube channel. While this is our last USL W League broadcast, so much content coming the rest of the season for the USL Championship side as well as the offseason. Stick around, subscribe, and check some more stuff out about Detroit City FC as Bloomquist breaks away from her defender.
A little bit of trickery there. It was a good step by Stefan. Great cross into Martin. Can she get on the end of it? No.
It's a great ball across from Bloomquist. I don't think anyone else in this complex saw that ball being a possibility, but Bloomquist did a great job finding her just a little bit too much on it.
So we see there, nice bit of trickery to get around her defender. She just has the ability. She doesn't even need to take a second look. She knows where to find her players. Just Martin unable to get on the end of that one this time. We'll see what she's able to conjure up later in the game.
And that's a great ball, and great job by the Cleveland keeper to come out, but there's possibilities for that ball to bounce right in front of the keeper. That creates danger for them, and she keeps her team with a clean sheet currently. Good pressure there before going all the way back to Shriver.
And Martin's so dynamic up top, whether it's up top or in the midfield. A good battle between her and Libby Matchka on the near side. Number 3 against number 3. Certainly be something to look for this game.
So that one kind of just slips away.
Almost a giveaway. DCFC looking to collect there. Bloomquist finding Francis. Francis looking to create a little bit of space for herself. Gets a little tangled up, dishes it off to Bloomquist. Now back to Francis. Francis in the box. And it goes way over the goal, but you could see what they were trying to do. She lost her foot along the way. And she might want that one back. Wanted to get her body over the ball a little bit more.
That was really good link-up play between Francis there and Bloomquist. Francis just tried to put her foot behind it, sailed over the bar, but to be in that position, get touches in the opposition box, that's what the game's all about when you're playing this style of football. So positive signs for Detroit City FC through the first 11 minutes of play.
Certainly, and Cleveland only scoring 7 goals so far this season. They've allowed 18 going into this game. That's one more allowed than DCFC. Really sound defensively, both these teams. As Francis called off for an offside. She might have strayed offside and then came back on to collect the ball. Still will be pulled back.
Impressed with the way that Cleveland has come out and fought, obviously, with the ride and the change of venue and all that stuff. You don't really know how a team's going to respond to all that, but they've done a good job, and as I mentioned a little bit earlier, wondering how long that can keep up for, only having one substitute on the bench.
Great turn there. We'll see if Cleveland can conjure up anything as they look to attack. Not pressing too quickly. DCFC certainly have the numbers behind. Cleveland not pressing a whole ton so far this game. And how about Kayla Addison tracking back? Cross comes in right to the feet of Karolak. And she'll collect.
Yeah, Coach Drahe will be happy to see his forward tracking that far back to be involved in the defensive work as well, as that one's finally just put a boot through, by Stefan, who clears it out of play, but only as far as the Cleveland right back.
Nice read there from Karolak.
Donnelly on this near side. Mentioned Matchcut and her danger. We see it right there, a beautiful cross into the Detroit City FC area. Dealt with even better there by Ella Karolak, University of Illinois star defender. Cross not too afraid to go forward and try to create opportunities, but that time just a little bit errant of a cross. Really impressive crowd here on display at Legacy Sports Center. I believe most of the bleachers look to be full, and then the standing room, there's not too much room up there either. So really impressed for everyone that came out this evening.
Certainly, and both teams just looking for a breakthrough right now. As Karolak finds herself out wide with the ball, surveying her options. And the thing with Cleveland is they're able to keep teams like Flint relatively quiet. As a great through ball all the way to Martin. She's got the speed, she's got the time, taking her defender one-on-one, crosses it in the box, no good.
That was a really good back post run there from Adele Francis. But to start that play, it was a brilliant turn in the midfield by Danny Stefan, and then a even better, perfectly weighted ball down to Martin, just unable to find that final ball. But a really good bit of technical prowess there from Martin, from Stefan, who ended her career at Michigan State University with the second most appearances in program history. So she's probably had a few of those in her day as well.
Flick there from Addison, pulled back for another offsides call there. And Flint have looked really sound defensively, keeping them offside. So we take another look here. Stefan, great vision.
That's a great shot of that too as well. We appreciate the camera operators on hand today to follow that play all the way through. It was a great back post run from Francis, but Cleveland sort of dodged a bullet there with the numbers Detroit City FC had forward.
They play really compactly. So against Flint, they made Flint play out wide, something they don't really want to do because they shut down spaces in the center, and you can kind of see it's been a battle in the midfield. I really liked how Stefan's been playing so far this game. They've been winning a lot of the 50-50s, keeping possession in their favor as Martin shows off a little bit of skill on the near side.
That one have judged to knock off against her foot there before going out of play. So it'll be a Cleveland throw-in in their own half.
And Cleveland just not being able to get a good string of possession going, exactly what DCFC want.
But on their flasher that Cleveland have had possession in Detroit City FC's half, it has been, not so much dangerous, but a few half chances here and there and a few sights at goal. So, while Detroit City FC might have started this match better, they have to be weary of Cleveland on the counterattack.
And Cleveland's not a team that's going to let you have a lot of looks on goal. Like I said, they've kept their teams relatively quiet. Their last three results, it was a loss, 1-0 their last two games. But like you said, then a win against Midwest a couple games ago. They're disciplined in their defense. They hope to do the same up top as a great one-on-one battle on the far side. Going at it, these two.
And credit there to the Cleveland player. A lot of times you see contact in the area, center backs and forwards. A lot of times you see forwards go down there, but great job there to stay on her feet, see the ball out of play. And Madison Duncan was involved in that 50-50 right there, but sees it go out of play for a corner. Cleveland's first of the match taken on this far side.
Catherine Ramacone giving Duncan a lot of bang for her buck on that far side as Cleveland will take their corner kick. Serves one in. The referee saw a foul, pulled that one back. Not really sure what happened in the box, but a lot of times you do see a couple of those fouls in the box.
Gabby Shriver's going to put the ball on the ground here and get things going back before playing it short. And back out wide to Madison Duncan, who's, when she's been available this season, has been an asset for this Detroit City FC squad. A fullback who's not afraid to break forward on the counter attack.
DCFC will look to get something going here. Nice overlapping run by Pageant, finds Addison. Addison in the box, now Francis.
Just a little bit loose there inside the area. I believe Addison was looking to make that cut, run inside there, and get after it. But unfortunately, Francis wasn't able to get there. I don't believe Addison's plan there was to get it to Francis. I think she was just trying to, spin her defender in the area, and it would have come off well. But Cleveland again dodging a bullet. Is Maya Sulis having some trouble with it going back, but a great recovery effort from her.
And boy, that was a high-pressure situation there. I mean, if Cleveland would have been through on that one if Sulis didn't clear it there as Bloomquist. Now Bloomquist to Martin. How about that connection? Martin taking it on with her left foot. Crosses it in and goes all the way across the box. Still in play, and it's a goal. DCFC scores.
Sort of a funny situation there inside of the area. It was bouncing around, and the Cleveland goalkeeper, Jillian Medvecki, was never able to get a hand on it. We'll see it again here. A great run down the side, put into the area. Francis threw a foot at it, threw a second foot at it on the ground, and then it was Kayla Addison that tucked home to give Detroit City FC the 1-0 lead, and that goal was worth $3,432 for the Ruth Ellis Center in the 2023 Pride Raiser campaign. A huge goal for the Pride Raiser campaign, the Ruth Ellis Center, a trailblazing organization doing incredible work for LGBTQ plus youth since 1999 in the city of Detroit. A huge goal for Detroit City FC and a huge goal for them.
Certainly, and all credit to DCFC. Their attack was relentless. It started with Martin taking her defender one-on-one, beating her, crossing it in, and Francis not credited for the goal, but how about her battling on the ground, getting any piece of the ball, and Addison just to tap in. Great piece of offensive relentlessness from this home team.
And when you're struggling to put the ball in the box, when you're struggling to find goals and chances, sometimes you just need one of those fluke ones to kind of work their way into the area. And on that occasion, it was Kayla Addison that tucked home to give Detroit City FC the goal and to go ahead.
How about Matchka on the far side calling for the ball? One of the things that Cleveland kind of struggle with is side-to-side ball movement.
And you mentioned Francis's work in that goal, but a great job there for her to stay on top of things, stay alert, and get after it, and put that one into the back of the net to break the deadlock here. And we'll see how the teams adjust from this. Cleveland, you kind of mentioned they were sitting more compact. They were sort of letting Detroit City FC come at them. But now if they want anything out of this match, they'll have to come out of their shell a little bit, and that could create opportunities for DCFC going the other way.
Certainly, and DCFC look hungry for another one. They're not just going to sit back so far. Cleveland, one of their attacking strengths is they can play really effectively out of trouble as Francis. She's been all over this Cleveland defense, creating opportunities out of nothing for her team. Credit to Francis for her work out there.
A throw in here deep in the Cleveland half. And, something even more impressive about Cleveland's win on, against Midwest United FC, it was on the road. So Midwest United FC, in the summer soccer, this W League sphere, it's all about availability. So, some players can't travel to away matches, but in this case, it was Cleveland going to Midwest and coming out with 3 points. A good result for them, but they'll have to get something going here to go home with a win on this occasion as Bloomquist now.
Good battles in the midfield to win this ball. Martin's been really effective so far this game, but a bad giveaway there, and then she dives in, not able to recollect the ball as Cleveland trying to get something going on the other side. Step from Karolak, doesn't get the ball, still in Cleveland's possession. And normally when you see Karolak step like that, she does try to get the ball. She normally does, but was a little too quick for the step up as DCFC will recollect the ball.
Ella Hadley did a good job getting away from Karolak there. Not often you use the phrase get away from Karolak, but on that occasion we saw it. But then a quick turnover from Cleveland sees the ball back at Detroit City FC's possession.
And Martin, trying to bend it around to Francis. You can see the idea. Francis was making the right run, just not able to get to the feet of the forward.
Situation right there where she also had Addison on this near side touchline. Addison maybe would have wanted the ball there. Tried to find Francis, never a bad option going forward when she's running through that back line, but Cleveland now has possession on the far side touchline.
And Martin's effectiveness to penetrate a defense has been really on display here, but she also has the ability to let it fly from far out, so something to keep an eye on if you're the Cleveland defense. It's Karolak battling it out.
And Karolak sort of built this reputation at the University of Illinois of linking play well with the midfielders. So not really a shock to any of us up here when we see her roam forward a little bit out of that traditional back line and, looking for passes further up the pitch. Ball's all the way back to Medvecki, who I'm sure would like that goal back. I don't think she necessarily did anything wrong on that occasion, just sort of was bouncing around in the area, so many legs flying around, and you don't really know where the ball's going to end up at. On that occasion, she saw it go past her, but otherwise been up to the task, shutting down those crosses and that one corner opportunity.
And too many times you see forwards stop because they don't want to either foul the goalkeeper because the referees kind of favor the goalkeepers in those dangerous situations. They want to protect the goalie. But in that situation, Francis, what she was doing was allowed in terms of penetrating the ball, keeping the attack going. All credit to DCFC forwards as Shriver plays it wide to Pruss.
Pruss now roaming forward, given the space to do so. Really no one around her for a good amount of yards. I believe that would have made it all the way through to the onrushing Martin, but Addison just had a little deft touch in the midfield right there, kind of slowed the ball down just a little bit as Karolak, we see again, nearly at the center circle, trying to win that ball back for Detroit City FC.
Just don't know if Addison saw the trailing run from Martin, so that's why maybe the ball didn't get all the way out wide. But it was a good idea from Pruss. It was a good idea from her.
And that's been the case on a few occasions. I think Addison maybe has missed a run or not seen one developing behind her. You want your striker to want to be involved in the play, and we see it there a couple times from her as well. And, truth be told, she's the one that broke the deadlock. So I'm sure Coach Dway, he's not going to be too upset about that.
Alicia Donnelly trying to connect with her midfielders. Plays at the University of Dayton. She scored 4 goals, 3 assists so far this season. So how about the defender getting it done on the offensive end? She's been doing a lot of work so far this game. And Martin with a nice step over continues the attack. Pageant wanted to let it fly, blocked by Cleveland defense. And why not test your luck from that far out? DCFC have shown that they have the ability to put one in the back of the net from that far out. If you see the opportunity, take it. They have the green light. Steffen plays it out to Martin.
Kind of jealous of you, Veronica. I was not on the call for that AFC Ann Arbor game. A great touch there by Medvecki to keep Francis off the scoreboard. It was a beautiful ball over the top and a great run by Francis to recognize that was coming in. But Medvecki went to ground with the foot there and saw that one poked away. But back to my point, I was jealous not to be on that call for AFC Ann Arbor. Some bangers in that game from Steffen Bloomquist. It was, not afraid to shoot from outside of the area, and for good reason.
And Francis, the stats may not reflect it, but she is a relentless player up top as Martin and Matchka go head-to-head. Donnelly almost stepped, decided not to. She'll cover for her defender. As Addison was kind of stuck out there as it'll go out for a Cleveland throw. Credit to Donnelly and Matchka as we take another look here.
Just a lot of soccer going on down there on that occasion. Detroit City FC up 1 here through 25 and a half minutes, and they've really been the team asking all the questions in this one so far, Veronica.
Certainly, and Cleveland needs to slow down DCFC. Now Martin. Martin will let it fly, and it goes way over the goal.
And that one started to dip just a little bit. I think she was leaning a little bit too far back when that strike came out. Got her foot just a little bit too far under it, and that put lift on it. We'll see it again here. Good job to create the space, but that one really was never going to come down in time to make the Cleveland goalkeeper sweat at all.
Like I said earlier, Martin has the ability to do so. She does find the time and space, something to look out for the Cleveland defense.
Want to thank you guys again for tuning in on the Detroit City FC YouTube channel. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Hopefully watching the match in a comfortable seated position as we currently watch Detroit City FC look to hold on to a 1-0 scoreline and maybe add a couple more goals, add a couple more thousands of dollars to the Pride Raiser total for 2023.
Battle in the midfield for possession. Cleveland trying to get something going. Haven't seen too much side-to-side ball movement so far from the away team. DCFC are doing a really good job at shutting down those passing lanes. Still go out for a Cleveland throw.
Not seeing a ton of positive communication from this Cleveland team. I think the ideas are there in some players' heads, but maybe not some of the others. Some questionable looks and some frustrated flailings of the arms for the visitors, which I'm sure that's not compounded by the fact that they're 1-0 down early on in this match, especially to give up a goal in that way. But nonetheless, they're going to look to press on for an equalizer.
And for DCFC, quite the opposite story. Their ball movement just looks so fluid. They look comfortable. That's exactly what you want to see from your team. Stefan in that holding mid spot. She works so well with Karolak and Sulis and her defensive line, as well as feeding the ball through her midfielders.
And I think, we talked about this on the broadcast for the Flint City AFC matches. Francis runs at the back line here.
Francis trying to get the cross off.
Go out for a goal kick,
Calling for the corner kick. I
believe it was a goal kick on that occasion. I think there might have been some conversation whether or not there was a deflection there, but nonetheless a goal kick granted here. But going back to my point, we were talking during the Flint City AFC match and matches prior about how the ideas from Detroit City FC always seem to be positive, and they just seem to lack that final ball and that communication to complete the task.
And it was the follow-through, the way they were able to get that first one, not giving up on the play, following through with their good ideas like we've talked about all season long, Jarrett.
Good job by Bloomquist there to play the ball back to Duncan before turning around to look to burst forward into some space. A great layoff there from Addison.
Francis burning through the Cleveland defense, gets a great cross off there, was hoping for a bobble from the Cleveland goalkeeper, not going to get it. She collects it. And how about Francis? She has been piercing through this Cleveland defense all night long, doesn't even seem to be tired.
And that was the case on the road the other day, a couple weeks ago against Cleveland Force. She was making these really good runs, had a lot of good chances to score, but denied by the Cleveland goalkeeper. We see it again there. Not only does she have the speed, Veronica, she also has the strength to power past these players and create dangerous opportunities for her squad.
The ball movement looking really good from this home team. The crowd is electric. DCFC 1, Cleveland 0. In case you're just joining us, the goal came from Kayla Addison, started off by Martin, who crossed it in. It was a little bobble in the box. Francis kept the play going, and Addison was able to tap it in. As Bloomquist battling it out, taking 1-2 Cleveland players, and it looks like go down injured on that one. Mackenzie Muir was a little shaken up. Not really what you want to see if you're the away team, asking for a sub immediately.
And that'll be a huge problem for Cleveland. I believe the player that they have on the bench luckily can come on and do a job. So no backup goalkeeper on the bench. You weren't really given the clear as to who their backup player was. But we'll see the substitution coming in now, and we'll see what happened right here. Looks like it was off the ball. She was certainly battling for the ball, but I didn't see a foot in there from Bloomquist. Didn't see anything of that nature. Sort of the scariest ones on that occasion being talked to by the trainer right there. Can't imagine she'll be too pleased.
It'll be interesting to see how Bryn Severance comes in, as referee will restart play.
The drop ball, yeah.
Telling Francis to back off.
And that one was just kicked right out of play. So Detroit City FC, I believe what happened there is they won possession. Cleveland was giving the possession back to Detroit City FC there for stopping the play due to their injured player. And then Detroit City FC gives it right back. So good sportsmanship on both sides of the ball here this evening. But if you're Cleveland, you're one subs out of the way. So the 11 that are on there right now, they go out there and finish the match.
Not really the position you want to find yourself in, is Cleveland looking to work the ball from side to side, playing it all the way back to their goalie.
And this game has had, peaks and valleys. I think we're kind of in a valley right here. Detroit City FC spent the last couple of minutes possession on the ball there. As you see a foul on the near side. I don't think Madison Duncan was too happy with that one. But we've seen Detroit City FC really take it to Cleveland. I think they're taking their foot off the gas just a little bit here. I think they have the right to do so. They've been the better side. Maybe just settling things down here just a little bit.
You'd just like to see a little bit more aggressiveness from the away team.
Back underway here, some soccer going on. All the way back to Medvecki, who has answered the call on a few occasions for her side, doing well to keep them in it.
And how about Isabella Antonio battling it out in the midfield? Kayla Addison might have a little luck here. A great defensive read from Donley. Saw it all the way, but not out of the woods yet. Francis now will cross it in. Who will get on the end of it? Paget, right into the hands of the Cleveland goalie.
Medvecki saw that one the whole way. The ball came across. Kayla Addison took it a little bit wide, and it was a good ball across the 18 there from Francis. Did a great job to find the head of Paget. But a good save there. Thought she might have bobbled it from up here, just like it took a couple bounces off the gloves right there, but Detroit City FC back on it once again.
But a great run from Paget. I mean, the defense can see Martin, but Paget, the trailing run, that was arguably way more dangerous and created that opportunity in the first place. And Paget so sneaky in getting in the 18-yard box and getting on the end of that. You'd like to see more from her. Been doing a really good job connecting with Bloomquist, with Martin. She plays with a lot of fluidity.
Cleveland now sort of calming things down, trying to get some possession on the ball, go into the half. Something positive to say at the break. A really well-timed turn there, but Karolak shows the speed, shows the football IQ that she possesses, and does a great job to get that one back. And all the way back to Shriver to reset for the Detroit City FC back line.
And Samantha Jablonski has been relatively quiet for Cleveland. She was a little bit more active in the opening minutes. But for DCSC, a lot of attention to detail will be in these final minutes, Jarrett. We've seen a lot of the times with a lot of these games in this league that some of the more dangerous plays can happen in the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes. Sometimes teams turn off a little sooner than they should, so both teams wanting to stay sound defensively. DCFC looking for another one. Cleveland looking to get on the board as Francis tries to get on the end of that. Ball played a little too hard. Goes back all the way for Medvecki.
Good job there to just roll it out. It was a calm situation. I think I saw what Paget was trying to do, and we've seen this time and time again, playing the ball over the top to Francis. It's caused problems for the Cleveland back line, but maybe not enough patience to put her in a position where she can really succeed with the ball, but a great job there by Cleveland to go up the other end and kind of look dangerous here on this counterattack. Why does I say that? That one's given away. Madison Duncan's fouled on that far side.
A little bit of frustration from the Cleveland side.
We'll see this chance again, I believe. Kayla Addison. This is the one that required a big save out of Medvecki. It was Paget that played the ball in, but Addison was sort of pushed out wide there. Great defending from Cleveland before Francis took a right foot, and that's a great header just right at the goalkeeper. Any other side, left or right, and that's 2-0 for Detroit City FC.
Addison really great on the turn again, interrupted by the Cleveland defense.
She had Martin, or excuse me, that was Paget that time, running beyond her on her left side. Just didn't really see her. I think Paget was making a better run just to her left, just unable to find her. And a foul comes now. I believe that was Francis just a little bit.
As we enter the final 10 minutes of this first half, you'd like to see, again, Cleveland getting a little bit more aggressive up top. You know, when they gave a goal up against Kalamazoo, they started attacking a lot more right after that, and you don't want to have to give up a goal to start attacking more aggressively, but for Cleveland, they've got to start something either now or never.
Yeah, when you come out and you set up in a low block, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's definitely a tactic and a way to play the sport. When you come up and set up a low block and you concede a goal, especially early on, you kind of have to come out of your shell, because what's the point in defending when you need a goal to go ahead to get the equalizer? So not really surprised to see Cleveland. You're seeing them take more chances out of the back. You're seeing them be a little bit more risky in the midfield. And I think that'll just go on as the game continues if this current game state holds. Really good bit of play there to keep the ball from Donnelly. It's going to go all the way back to the back line before being spread around here.
And Donnelly and Heath really good in that center back. You'd like to see Donnelly connect a little bit more with Matchka. See there, just an over-the-top ball, called back for an offside. But Matchka's got the vision, especially near this side. You'd like to see her make a little bit more of those penetrating passes to her forwards, just finding them on the run a little bit, and that all starts from the back line. How are they able to connect with their defenders, with their wings? As Addison plays it back to Bloomquist. Bloomquist surveying her options, looks to the far side, gives a little bit of a direction, opts to play it wide.
Duncan cutting inside now. Really great triangle there from Detroit City FC.
And a dangerous cross in the box.
I believe that was Martin that threw a foot at it. It was either going to be her or Paget, but that time it was Martin that threw a right foot at it, and it's going to go just wide of that near post.
Those two so dangerous, and Martin just not able to get on the end of it. But the pairing between Martin and Paget has been electric so far this game. They've read each other well. Stefan doesn't win the header, goes all the way back to the DCFC defense. It takes a little bit of a tumble there on the turf. Now looking to attack is Severance.
Severance has been one of the brighter players for Cleveland since coming onto the pitch. Great tackle there. It's going to roll out of play, and it will be a deep throw-in for Cleveland. I believe there was Maya Sulis that went to ground earlier to see that one out of play. And the Detroit City FC necessarily wasn't in trouble numbers-wise, but did a good job there to rebound, recover, and make sure Severance couldn't go too far with her technical ability on that one. If you're watching this match, go to prideraiser.org to give to the 2023 Pride Raiser campaign. Would be a little bit shocked if we didn't see another Detroit City FC goal in this match, benefiting the Ruth Ellis Center. Great cause every year from the supporters of Detroit City FC. So go support it, prideraiser.org, find the Northern Guard Supporters campaign. As we see here, Francis running through, trying to get a foot on it.
Francis not able to beat everyone and just ran out of steam towards the end, but how about Francis making those piercing runs?
It's going to be a free kick, and again, that was one of those situations where, you know, maybe Francis did apply a little bit too much pressure to the defender, but a good job to keep the play going as we see Medvecki here getting ready to boot this one forward. Kyle Clayton right there checking his iris after the lights briefly went out and came back on.
All the way back to Shriver, who hasn't seen much action since the opening minutes.
And despite that, she's had a lot of touches because of the nature of the way this Detroit City FC team plays. Not afraid to play it back to her, reset things before getting things going in the attack. So, you know, while she hasn't really had too many saves to make, she's had a lot of touches for being 1-0 up. Really good work there by Martin. And then a foul, taking a little tumble there before seeing that one. Addison is going to run by that one. 5 minutes remaining in this first half of play. Veronica, what have you seen from both sides? What have you liked from both sides? And how do you think the tweaks are going to come at halftime?
DCFC have looked really sound from top to bottom. Their defense is collective and compact. They've been passing the ball really well, making these protruding runs. As we see Martin, great bit of skill there, finds Francis a little bit wider than she wanted. Francis kind of wanted the ball a little bit more inward. Still gets a cross off all the way to the goalkeeper. But to my point, Detroit has looked really fluid in their ball movement. They've been able to find each other really well, haven't had too many interruptions. And from Cleveland, you want to see them with the ball more. They look more comfortable when they have it. The problem is they can't keep it for long. So you'd like to see a bit of a more longer spells of possession from them going into the second half. Again, some relentless attack from the DCFC, and now can they get something going? Martin, little 3-on-4 action, opts to play the square ball to Bloomquist. Almost a bad giveaway.
Really impressive defensive work there by Maya Sulis. When you can have a defender that can not only make the tackle, but in the same motion, get the play going up the pitch. Really good work from her there to spur her team forward in search of a second goal.
I think for Cleveland, it's just got to be aggressiveness, ball movement going into the second half. They can focus on those two things, as Kayla Addison might be in here, called back for an offside.
It was a little bit tight, but before she knew she was off, I think she tried to take a touch inside, and I think she would have been better off maybe just going for it, keeping the run forward, and then throwing her right foot at it. But nonetheless, flag was up, and it will be a goal kick at that point.
Sometimes for those forwards, it's that last glance in. They either have to receive the ball quicker or they got to check their run back. So that'll go out for a DCFC throw in Cleveland's final third of position they found themselves in a lot so far this first half. As we're winding down, only a few minutes left. DCFC in no hurry to take this one. Francis has been busy all game. Plays it to Bloomquist. All the way back. They will reset.
Cross in a further advanced position up the pitch than we've seen her in some occasions this evening. A good turn by Addison. She's done that move 4 or 5 times in this match so far. I think the Cleveland backline are starting to get a little bit used to it. They know to expect it. Doesn't mean she's going to stop doing it or won't see it as effective. We could see it again here. I think we would have had the ball gotten to her, but Pruss elected for Paget. That was Martin, excuse me. Nonetheless, a Bronco.
Severance out wide. Looking to see what she's got. Tries to play with the outside of her boot. Not successful as Pruss finds Martin. Martin opting to play it inside. Taking her defender one-on-one. Gets interrupted. Now Paget. Paget still with the ball. Dishes it off to Addison. Again, another offsides call there. You'd like to see her just check her run back. Maybe it's the final glance thinking that she is onside and the ball comes just a tad too late. Finds herself in that offsides position. Just a little bit of frustration there.
And that's sort of the danger that you play when you want to play in behind the back. You know you're going to get called offside on some occasion, but maybe just one more check of the run there, one more look over the shoulder prevents stuff like that. I've never played the sport. I have zero idea what I'm talking about when it comes to leading a line and being a part of this attack from Detroit City FC. But to be in those positions is great. To get the ball in the area is great. It's going to come off eventually. It has on a couple of occasions this season as we get into 2 minutes of added time. A foul there, and if there's one player that you do not want standing over a dead ball, it will be Sydney Bloomquist. I'll bet anyone watching $1 million that Sydney Bloomquist is going to be the one taking this free kick. From a dangerous position, we've seen her score from on multiple occasions this season.
Can it be anybody but Sid Bloomquist? And like you said, Jarrett, Addison's shown that move a lot, but this time it results in a dangerous free kick.
And it's an interesting angle at it because you could go
either way,
and that'll be Medvecky's going to be aware of that. The wall's going to have to be good here. My money's on Sydney Bloomquist trying to pick out that top right-hand corner. She has the skills to do it. Let's see if Lightning can strike for a third time this season.
Lining it up, Bloomquist right into the hands of Medvecky.
And it had some curl on it. It had some dip to it. Just not really enough pace on it to cause Medvecky any problems. I think if I was confident that she was going to go up to that far right corner, I believe Medvecky might have seen it the whole way. But nonetheless, a good job to get that on target over the wall and ask the question of the Cleveland keeper on that occasion. Great
Oh,
turn there by Stefan.
How about that show of skill? And that's just experience now finding Martin on that left-hand side. Taking her defender one-on-one. How about it?
Put it through the legs there. Great job. A great, two players in that 2 against for Detroit City FC had the ball, and both of them pulled out great skills from their lockers. First, Danny Stefan in the midfield before it was Martin putting it through the defender's legs as Bloomquist, her second set-piece opportunity in as many minutes.
Been taking corners so far all season long. When she is on the field, she'll put one in the box. Service in, service out. Still not out of the danger yet. Severance is kind of taking Duncan on that 50-50 ball, still going out for a DCFC throw.
Good corner. I believe it was Addison that might have got a head on it, tried to flick it to the far post. Goes all the way out for a throw-in, but Detroit City FC still on the front foot here as this first half nearly comes to an end. The referee takes a look at her watch, all the way to the back line. Another look at the watch. One more attack in it, possibly. And 3 ticks of the whistle for halftime. Veronica, Detroit City FC going to the half, 1-0. What'd you see from the side? Both sides, as they head into the locker room.
They played really disciplined. I think both teams were really disciplined in their approach. Obviously, a great show of defensive work from both squads. DCFC being more successful, getting the first one in. It was a relentless attack for Cleveland. You just want to see a little bit more aggressiveness, Jarrett.
Yeah, it was a disciplined first half, an exciting first half. 1-0 Detroit City FC leads. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in 15 minutes for the second half of action here from the Legacy Sports Complex in Brighton.
Hello and welcome to Legacy Center in Brighton. DCFC taking on Cleveland Force SC. DCFC coming into this half 1-0. Kayla Addison being the goal scorer here tonight. Jarrett?
Yeah, just, a performance that you would expect out of Kayla Addison. We've seen how dangerous she can be when trying to break that back line, running in behind on goal. We saw it on a couple occasions, just maybe 1 or 2 touches off of making its way from really working out, but she was able to throw a foot on that scramble in front of the goal and put Detroit City FC up 1-0 after the first 45 minutes of play. A great performance from her so far this evening.
An absolute pest up top. She's given Medvecki a lot for her night.
As we see Medvecki there, she's made a couple of good saves in this match. When she's been called upon, she's answered the call. She's been alert and quick to get down, to come out of her line just a little bit. A good job by Medvecki as the sides will, of course, flip now, and they will get ready to go back at it.
Medvecki, a huge reason why this Cleveland team has been able to stay in it so far this whole game. She's a big reason why a lot of these games that Cleveland finishes are 1-0, are so low scoring. She is really sound in that goal.
And she's done a good job keeping them in the match and being alert. Detroit City FC, when they've gone forward, it's not really been the most clear-cut opportunities, but a large part of that is Medvecki's positioning, her willingness to come off of her line and sort of shake things up for her team just a little bit. Going to take her goal back, and she'll have to be big in this second half to not only keep Detroit City FC off the board, but get her team in it, keep her in it, and push them forward in search of an equalizer. But Detroit City FC so far really comfortable with the current game state and just wanting more of the same in the second half. Maybe a few more clear-cut opportunities, but nonetheless, fun moments ahead for them.
And it was Kayla Addison who has scored the lone goal here tonight. But it's been a lot of Francis. It's been a lot of Martin. They've been really effective up top in creating opportunities out of nothing a lot of the times. Francis's speed has been electric so far tonight. As we are underway here at Legacy Center, a game moved to the field house here in Brighton because of poor air quality. So fortunate that we've been able to put on this broadcast, this game here tonight. Cleveland will start with the ball for this second half.
And there has been a goalkeeping change for Detroit City FC. Dayton Waymer has entered play for Gabby Shriver to start the second half of action. So Shriver, 45 minutes, clean sheet. Dayton Waymer now, number 88, comes into the match looking to assist on the clean sheet. She has won this season. I don't know the way they score those, but she shared one with Madison Vukas against Cleveland on the road. So looking to do that exact same thing here, except at quote-unquote home here at Legacy Sports Complex in Brighton. Detroit City FC shaking the ball well. A great throw down the line. It's Addison yet again. That time flicked it through the legs. When you got that in your locker, it's really hard to defend against.
Cleveland will look to get something going here. Broken up by Bloomquist, still trailing. Cleveland able to retain possession. And you can see a lot so far this game. It's been a lot of checking back in with forwards, checking in for the ball, creating opportunities for one another. That's been the key to success in creating these opportunities. They'll look to continue that momentum as Karolak puts on some pressure there.
Ella Karolak, we mentioned it in the first half, almost incessantly. She's so good at coming out of that back line, adding another body into the midfield, which of course can help the midfield with the numbers, with the pressure, with the pressing moments, and a really good display of it right there. And then immediately, right seconds later, she's back in the back line, marshalling play in front of now Dayton Waymer.
She's got great technique in the back, great ball movement. And it's reflected in her approach playing at Illinois in Big Ten, a really competitive conference. She's seen a lot of action. She's faced really good players in the Big Ten, has had to defend a lot of good players so far. As Francis checking a little bit in, has the ball, looks at her options, given away there, but she's immediately on it. DCFC are pressing, looking to get the ball back right away. How about Francis winning the ball back?
She's maybe a little bit too excited there after winning the ball back. Tried to find Addison. Her run wasn't really developed at a point yet where she could receive it. back to Cleveland and Medvecki, who gets her team back underway. But you mentioned Karolak having to defend in the Big Ten. She's going to have to defend at Del Francis this upcoming season as she takes the pitch for Jeff Hostler's Spartans in a program that's just come such a long way since Hostler was appointed just a couple of years ago.
Bloomquist gets it back. Paget, a little 1-2 play there. Addison twisting, turning, trying to find space. Cleveland will look to attack, don't have the numbers, and this is what DCFC have been so effective in doing is when they don't have the ball, how many bodies can they get behind the attack? And the answer is a lot.
Ball played forward yet again. It's going to be Karolak this time that's going to have to do some defending, and right on cue, she steps up, gets a foot in, and I thought Dayton Wayman might have gotten her first touch since coming on, but Karolak, now she does. Really composed ball to play, especially when that striker's breathing down your neck. And a great play out wide. Pruss is found and able to look forward and assess her options. Alexis to play it over the top on the touchline. Looks like it's not going to be able to get there. Good job marshaling it back to Medvecki, who then plays it forward, but only as far as Bloomquist, who settles it down.
A good read there from Bloomquist off to Paget. Paget twisting, turning, finding the square ball. That is Duncan.
Duncan running at her defender now.
Skipping over, hopping over, and now a great turn there. Still has the ball, now inside the box, still with the ball. Oh, and Addison was looking for the second in the hands of Medvecki.
Just took a little bit too much time there maybe from Addison Duncan. A great job to get to that goal line, cutting inside, a great skill to get past the defender there. It was a good ball across over to Addison, and it wasn't really so much a shot from Addison, it more so just bounced off of her foot and into the hands of Medvecki very calmly. It's still 1-0 here. 5 minutes gone in the second half of action. I want to thank you guys so much again for tuning in here on the Detroit City FC YouTube channel. No matter where you're watching from, we appreciate having you guys on hand for tonight's match. Again, the final home match of Detroit City FC's season in the W League.
All the way back to Medvecki. Finding her player, Francis, putting the pressure on. How about Machka finding herself a little bit more up top, and Waymer way off her line, ricochets off the Cleveland forward.
Dayton Waymer just maybe a little bit excited off the line right there. A great job coming out. You kind of see that a lot in modern keepers, sort of the archetype of modern keepers, just someone who's not afraid to come off of their line and someone who's comfortable playing the ball in those positions. So a good job by Waymer. She's had limited minutes this season, but coming out and not being afraid to come out in that occasion will make the substituted off goalkeeper, but also the goalkeeper coach, Gabby Schreiber, happy to see.
And oftentimes when you do see the keeper step off their line, it can get the attack going a lot quicker rather than waiting for the ball to come to you. As a nice piercing run there, still with the ball, Paget now eventually gives it up, but fighting for it back to Stefan Karolak. A combination we've seen a lot so far this game, out wide to Duncan.
Duncan, maybe just one more touch, would have played the ball down that line. Good job by Karolak on that sequence right there. I think Paget would have had Addison and she had a chance to look up and find her.
Christine Franzen broke that one up against Duncan. That'll be a good matchup to watch.
Addison, again, more touches in the area for Addison. Just unable to really see anything come of note since that goal for Detroit City FC in the first half. Addison now with more of the space she's had on the ball than usual this evening. Stefan again just so calm in the midfield. You put 2 bodies on her, 3 bodies on her. She finds her way to wriggle out of it.
Been a great playmaker so far. Nice overlapping run there from Pruss. Still with the ball. Martin, she'll let it fly from the left foot all the way back to Heath, who has been a pivotal part for her college defense. Megan Heath plays Canisius University. Started in 14 of 19 games for her team.
And a good touch there, to get it to Martin. Martin then played it in. If Addison was maybe just a little bit more aware of that, she could have. Heath, it was sort of a heavy touch from her inside of her own box. Maybe could have pounced on that one. But still a good job by Martin. A powerful shot from that position. But now, only 30 seconds later, it's all the way back to the feet of Waymer.
And Waymer's had some good action so far in these opening minutes. 7.5 minutes gone now. DCFC have looked the same as they have in the first half. You would like to see a nice, great through ball there, but red all the way.
And that was very well weighted, just an incredible defensive action there. I believe that was Heath yet again preventing the run there from Paget. Took a bounce off the turf, just not a bounce that really put it into her path. As we'll see Duncan now walk up to the throw-in on this near side, deep in Cleveland's half.
And Paget had a good run from behind as service comes in, cleared away. But like I said in the first half, when Paget headed the ball straight to Medvecki's hands, it was a good piercing run because nobody was tracking her. When she makes that penetrating run from, holding mid position, as you see Francis kind of battling it out there for a corner kick, and that's where Paget's able to be really effective in the midfield and going forward for her team.
A great job by Francis to see that one out of play. Again, just showing off the strength that she has, what she can do with her back to goal in situations like that, creating a corner opportunity. We've seen Detroit City FC dangerous on these.
Rising up was Francis, not out of the woods yet, still in play, headed out, and now cleared out all the way back to the half line.
And that's two situations there in sort of almost consecutive minutes where Detroit City FC has been able to play the ball into the area and just sort of everyone looking at the ball rather than going to attack it. Not an effort thing, just maybe not, being on the same page with the player playing it in.
Bloomquist, a nice bit of play there. Duncan now has Francis out wide if she wants, opts to take it, still with the ball. Duncan twisting, turning, now dishes it off to Francis, who has been so effective so far this game and really dangerous, going out for a corner kick.
Another corner yet again. Great job by Francis to consistently win these set pieces. It's got to be a huge part as to why Jeff Hostler and his staff wanted to bring her into the fold at Michigan State University. The way that program is trending, we saw it last year, it's going to be a top 20 program year in, year out, especially when you can bring in great players like Adele Francis. Sydney Bloomquist making sure the ball's on the exact part of turf she wants it to be.
Service in. Bobbled there by Medvecki and a Cleveland player down.
Yeah, it's not what you want to see when you've made the one sub that you brought, but she's already back to her feet. Good to see that. Walking a little bit gingerly, but a great ball in, and Medvecki had to get a hand on it. She did. And that one, another corner, the third corner won by Francis in the last 3 minutes. You got to think eventually one of these are going to spawn a dangerous attacking opportunity. We've seen, again, half chance after half chance after half chance, looking to get a dangerous look at goal here.
Opts to play it on the ground. Karolak, she found herself way forward. Now Steffen will test her luck from way outside and just wide. Oh, wow, that was a really organized play from the home team.
Yeah, that one had the height on it. It had the speed, just a little bit too far of that far post there from Steffen. We've seen her score goals from that distance. That quality before definitely exists in her game. We see it right there. Medvecki saw it the whole way. And Michael Kitchen saw it the whole way.
And it was a designed, organized play. You had a player check in. Ball came on the ground, dished it out to Steffen. You'd like to see a little bit more of that. And sometimes teams wait till the second half to debut a play like that, as Francis again chasing and beats her defender. Corner just, the cross not effective.
Yeah, that one went off the uprights there. Kind of rang around the arena just a little bit. A good job. I think maybe Dave Dwayhe and his staff might have found something on this near side touchline here for Adele Francis. Rolling right at Heath, running it straight through her. As Medvecki now will have it in her hand. 56 minutes gone. Detroit City FC still holding on to that 1-0 lead they earned in the first half through Kayla Addison. Steffen now. Great header down. Bloomquist kind of muscled off the ball just a little bit.
Antonio with a good win in the center circle. Matchka now has the overlapping run, opts to play it through into the feet of Karolak. Karolak, does a great job just creating space for herself, shaking off the forwards. And again, that just comes with a lot of experience on the field, especially in Big Ten. A lot of teams like to press. Now Addison has the option out wide, broken up by Antonio. She came on for Jablonski last game. Matchka again dishing it off. Karolak reading it all the way. Still will go out for a Cleveland throw as a couple DCFC players, in fact, their whole bench except for Shriver warming up.
And that's a luxury that the visitors would love to have on this occasion. Cleveland already having made their first sub of the evening, their first and only sub of this evening's contest. As Detroit City FC have a whole gaggle, group, something of substitutes warming up down there to the right of Medvecki's goal. But now Cleveland have numbers committed forward for the first time this half.
It's Ramacone who beats Sulis, gets a cross off, but nobody on the end of it, and Waymer will see that all the way through, making sure it goes out for a goal kick.
And a good job by Waymer to run over to it just in the event it takes a funny bounce off of the turf right there, but a good job to see it go out of play, and now she's got to go retrieve it herself. The lack of ball kids, I believe, starting to play a factor in this one.
And you got to think DCFC are still hungry for another. Cleveland still looking to get on the board. They'd like to do so.
Of course, another Detroit City FC goal would be massive for the 2023 Pride Raiser campaign. Following that goal that took place in the first half, that total now up to $17,178. So go to prideraiser.org, find the NGS campaign, and donate to support the Ruth Ellis Center this Pride Month. Francis there, just unable to head it toward the Cleveland goal. Might cause some problems up the other end.
And how about Jablonski getting in there? Was a great flick from her. You'd like to see more of that. Didn't really see too much in the first half. She was relatively quiet. And now getting a lot more involved in the play. Been linking up with Matchka and her fellow forwards. Jablonski, a player of her caliber.
Good turn there by Paget. It's getting Sydney Bloomquist involved. Going to spray it out wide now to Francis.
Francis would have liked to kept the attack going, just unable to get on the end of it was Bloomquist. Still Duncan now. Stefan takes a look over her shoulder, opts to play it down the middle. Still Stefan, oh, she was looking to get a shot off. And
yeah, I was going to say that next touch was definitely going to be a shot. I think she was all the way lined up for it and then just unable to get it out of her feet. So a good awareness there from Cleveland to recognize her danger from deep.
Tracking all the way back, Duncan and Matchka. Good pairing there. How about some skill from Matchka to create some space for herself? Duncan all over it, forcing her to make a play.
And there have been moments of brilliance from some of these Cleveland players so far tonight as we see a follow there. Not so much on that occasion, but there have been moments from this Cleveland team tonight where you think you kind of see how they beat Midwest United. You kind of wonder how their season's gone the way that it has. Everything that's against them tonight, it's still 1-0, and they're still putting up a fight here. We see that one there, and Duncan now with the armband goes to ground on that occasion. Good run here by Martin.
Martin still with the ball, creating space for herself, gets the cross off. Francis not able to connect. Bloomquist still lines one up, ricochets all the way out for a goal kick.
And that touch by Bloomquist right there on the edge of the area, able to control it, that is worth the price of admission alone, as Michael Kitchen gets a great touch in there to play it over to Bloomquist, who's going to go over to take this corner. But a great touch to settle it down. It came in fast, it came in high, and a really good job by Detroit City FC's most experienced player to settle that one down and get a chance at goal.
Bloomquist lines one up, service in the box, it's high and on the 18-yard line. Tracking it down is Duncan, able to retrieve it, hoping to keep it in play. She does so, runs into too many Cleveland bodies, and a good clearance there from Cleveland all the way back to Sulis, the only defender back for DCSC as they look to press still.
I think Cleveland closed that gap that Detroit City FC tried to exploit on that last corner kick, which saw the ball make its way to Francis, forcing Detroit City FC to go long.
How about Bloomquist with the service? And
unable to bring it down, Kayla Addison on that occasion. So we'll see, looks like 3 substitutions now for Detroit City FC. Looks like it'll be Kayla Addison coming off, number 9, ending her day. A great job to break the deadlock in this match. Looks like it's going to be, as well as number 2 coming off to change things up for Detroit City FC.
Peters on, Gardner on, hoping to make
maybe just 2 subs. I believe it might have been just 2 subs. Saw 3 players over there by the assistant referee, but nonetheless, Bryn Gardner on. She's incredibly dangerous going forward, and Ellie Poole enters the field of play as well. So a little bit of a shakeup up top. We mentioned how long can this press sustain, especially in the heat, with the way everything's gone so far today. Poole on, Bryn Gardner on. That'll definitely shake things up going forward. I don't think you'll see too much of a difference in the approach and the attack, but more so in the personnel that's attacking the Cleveland back line.
Service in from Cleveland all the way to Waymer, read it, and a nice read at that. You can see already the differences in goalkeeping approach. Shriver maybe would have played that one a little sooner. Waymer opts to collect and regroup her team. Great side-to-side ball movement from the home squad.
So Avery Peters makes her way back into this Detroit City FC team. You know, we mentioned availability in summer soccer, and she was such a crucial part of this Detroit City FC side. Had to miss a couple of matches, but back in the team. Coach Dre, he's going to be happy. She brings so much energy, enthusiasm, and technical ability as well to this Detroit City FC squad.
Matchka trying to get a shot off. Sails just wide of the goal. Like you talk about, Peters, a caliber player for this home team. And what makes Peters so dangerous is she's able to create opportunities for her team out of nothing. What makes her so effective is the twisting, the turning, how she's able to, with her back turned against the goal, how she's able to create those opportunities for her teammates is incredible. Bloomquist
tried to get something going there on that occasion. It's a good ball by Peters across. Just unable to really track it down was Bloomquist. But those subs indicate to me that Detroit City FC really wants to push the issue here and get a second goal in this match. At the end of the last time these two sides faced off, I think Detroit City FC, I don't think they really dipped off too much in quality, but Cleveland had to take the game to them to try to find an equalizer, and if not for a great save from Madison Vukas, they would have.
And I think this DCFC team have been really frustrating Cleveland so far, not allowing them to get a lot of opportunities. Like I said, Matchka has been gliding through this near side, trying to create some opportunities for her team. You would like to see Heath and Jablonski a little bit more involved. Jablonski gave it up there. Cleveland fighting for possession back, able to retain it.
Great bit of skill there by Bryn Gardner to retain possession, and then had one more touch in it, but just kind of saw it a little bit too far before it goes out of play for a throw-in.
And how about Peters with the great step, winning it, trying to win it back at that. Will sail out for a Cleveland throw. You can already see still the pressure not letting up for this home team, even with the lead.
And in the first meeting between these two sides at DeSanto Field, it was Avery Peters that broke the deadlock with a rocket of a strike with the right foot from outside of the area. Somehow snubbed from the USL W League Goal of the Week nominations, but maybe another one in here as Sydney Bloomquist gets it back to Poole. And Poole, we see her dropping deep just a little bit, never afraid to drop deep and get herself involved in the play. And I mentioned we'll see the change in personnel on the front line. We won't really see a change in the approach. And a great example of that there is we saw Addison doing that a lot in that first half of play.
And you got to think if Francis would have been on that last play, if she would have started her run a little bit sooner, maybe she would have gotten on the end of it. But she's been getting on the end of a lot of the plays that started here as that sails past Peter all the way to Gardner.
And Gardner not afraid to run at defenders. Great little bit of skill there to create space for herself. It's Poole on the far side. Gonna say she's offside, and the offside bug has bit Ellie Poole on a couple of occasions this season. We were on the call for the game where she had a goal ruled out against Midwest United. Yep. On that occasion, we'll see 2 more subs for Detroit City FC as number 12, Rayan Pruss, and number 8, Maya Sulis come off.
2 defenders off. There for...
And Lexi Smith coming on to replace Maya Sulis. Then Rayanne Pruss off as well.
Emily Gardner slotting in that outside spot. That was a hard tackle there from Gardner. Antonio looks to be okay. The pressure started by Peters continuing. DCFC don't want Cleveland to have the ball too long, as it still is only 1-0.
And when you're in this situation, you have the chance to make these substitutions. Maybe get some players minutes that haven't really been able to see the field too much for one reason or the other. Certainly the case for Dayton Waymer in goal right now. Really good to see her get on the pitch and be able to contribute in the second half of play here.
A battle for possession kind of going back and forth these past couple minutes. Poole giving chase and eventually fouling her. It was a shove in the back. I think that'll be a foul all day. Poole just a little too eager. One of those many substitutes that has come on for this DCFC team.
And certainly not afraid, Poole, to get in the face of defenders, get in the face of midfielders. She kind of has that chip on her shoulder when she's playing out there, and it definitely adds a lot, a different dynamic to this Detroit City FC squad. We saw it a lot this last year. We see it a lot in spurts this season. Definitely a part of her game there, but also a lethal finisher in front of goal. Can't really give her too many touches or else she'll make you pay for it.
And Cleveland been really good at trying to keep possession these past few minutes.
Game's kind of slowed down here just a little bit in the last few minutes since the subs started coming into the match.
And that's just a matter of getting adjusted to the pace of play, hoping to bring on that energy. It's starting to cool off inside this field house, but
even then, still a little bit humid in here,
yes.
And we're not even running around. We're just standing here in a comfortable position, watching this game and delivering it to you folks at home. Cleveland playing it around their back line here.
Heath trying to find Antonio, no good. Emily Gardner finding Poole now with the giveaway. Poole with the cutback. Still Poole, a lot of pressure around her. She had 1, 2, 3 Cleveland bodies around her, able to get it out of pressure.
Real good job to maintain possession there. Poole. Karolak sprays it out wide.
Karolak wants it back. Duncan opts to go forward with it. Peters kind of checking.
Bryn Gardner there just not really communicating too well with Avery Peters on that occasion. But not really going to cost Detroit City FC too much, as it was Karolak that was going to run over to her. But I believe that'll bobble out of play for a throw-in. And this shot right here just shows you how many people have showed out here tonight for Detroit City FC, this W League match. And it's really been great to see. Not really sure you move venues last minute. Not really sure what the attendance is going to be like, but a great job, great show of support here on hand this evening.
Certainly is. Emily Gardner finds the feed of Poole. What can Poole create? Cuts it back to Bloomquist, who's been nothing short of a great playmaker for this home team. Now Peters.
Great ball out wide. Judged to be offside. I don't even know if Bryn Gardner thought she was. Didn't really look like she was too guilty of that, but nonetheless, the flag goes up, and Cleveland can breathe a little bit easier knowing that Bryn Gardner's not running at the goalkeeper.
When we talked about it going into this game, Cleveland are really sound defensively. They don't give up a lot of goals. They force teams to play out wide, and part of that discipline comes from their back line. When do they step? How do they step is half the game, and they've been able to catch DCFC offsides more than a handful of times. kind of frustrating them. And for forwards, it disrupts their way of play. It sails over the head of Karolak.
Calmness personified right there from Karolak. We know we kind of sound like a broken record at this point, talking about how good she is on the ball. A good job there. Poise and composure to see that one back to the goalkeeper. Nearly 15 minutes remaining here for Detroit City FC in their final home match of the season. If you're just joining us, the match was moved from Keyworth Stadium to here in Brighton at the Legacy Sports Complex due to air quality concerns. Want to make sure the players on the pitch as well as the fans in the stands are safe and healthy. So indoor now in Detroit City FC looking to...
How about Peters creating an opportunity for herself, serving it in. Oh, she would have liked to have it a little bit more away from the goalkeeper. But it all started with Peters. She read the play, kind of chested it down to her defender, and they were able to create an opportunity almost out of nothing. It was Cleveland's ball. Sails back all the way out to their defense. Donnelly playing it.
Good job there by Peters to get in the position of being able to play that ball in. And Poole was making the run. She was up there with her, just a little bit too close to the goalkeeper, as we'll see a foul here on Emily Gardner going against Cleveland.
How about Emily Gardner pulling one back for her team? Gives them an opportunity to kind of reset the way of play. Bloomquist dishing out instructions for her team.
A little bit too far back for Bloomquist, I believe, on this occasion to have a go at it, but nonetheless, going to play the ball into the mixer. A lot of players queuing up for her side on this one, so if we get a good ball into the area, something dangerous could come of it.
Bloomquist serves it in. Strong header cleared out.
And Ellie Poole was kind of making a beyond-the-shoulder run right there, just unable to get the ball to her feet. Brayden Gardner, though, plays a ball into the area. It was dangerous, but took a slight deflection while being played in.
And Stefan not letting Ramacone have any bit of that ball. That will trickle out for a Cleveland throw as we enter the last 15 minutes of this game. Detroit City FC have looked exactly how they've looked after 45 minutes in the first half. They've looked sound. They've looked poised. Cleveland looking to get one back. But Francis, I mean, talk about a player who's not given up all game. Her pressing has been relentless so far.
It's making me tired sitting up here watching, how much pressing she's been doing, how often she's tried to win the ball back from the center backs who think they have a little bit too much time on the ball, trying to really do a good job of breaking up play in that regard. But was unable to really see it come off so far tonight. I think Cleveland have been a lot better in the second half at containing Detroit City FC and not letting them burst out and do damage to them on the counterattack.
As we see Antonio giving chase. And how about some defensive work? Goes out for a DCFC throw. Great defensive work from Poole. Just shielding the ball away from Antonio really is all they needed. But the throw way back in DCFC's final third.
And we've seen that a lot on occasion tonight. Forwards not being afraid to drop back and doing some defending. That comes down, was that a tactic going into the match, or are they having to adjust to Cleveland finding bodies up the field? So we've seen it from Poole, we've seen it from Addison, and it's great to see, I'm sure, for the coaching staff as well as us down here. I believe Cleveland have earned a corner.
And it's a testament to how much they trust each other, this starting 11, for the forwards to do some defensive work. Oftentimes you see forwards think they're too good for that defensive work, and it leads to bad opportunities. But a corner here for Cleveland. The service goes in. Still trickling. Francis trying to put the header on, goes out for another corner, not able to clear it effectively. DCFC just want to get it out, and Cleveland looking to capitalize.
And if you're Cleveland, this is exactly what you want to see. 2 back-to-back corner opportunities, a chance to kind of throw everyone forward with not a ton of regard. You're able to get a look at goal. A set-piece opportunity here could be dangerous for the visitors.
Near the penalty area, Francis with the defensive work.
Great clearance by Bloomquist there. Not really at anybody or toward anybody, just wanting to get it out of the danger zone, and a good job of that there. But Cleveland still pressing the issue here.
Now Donnelly with the ball, time and space, tests her luck and sails it over the goal for a goal kick. And Donnelly has been really a key figure of how sound this defense is for Cleveland, as another substitute will come on. This time it's Sid Bloomquist making her way off the field.
Sid Bloomquist coming off for the final time in front of a home crowd here at Detroit City FC this season. You can't really underestimate and not, understate how much she's brought to this team this season. She's been an absolute weapon every single time she's been in that midfield for Detroit City FC, and the fans have been treated to greatness this season from Sydney Bloomquist's play.
She just brings a whole nother level of skill to this starting 11, and it's been so consistent throughout this season. She doesn't give defenders the same move twice. She knows when to mix it up, how to get them on their toes, when to know that they're flat-footed. Sid Bloomquist, top-class player. Francis still giving chase.
Melanie Moore, we've kind of seen her minutes limited this season. I thought she was going to be a bigger part of the squad. I think she picked up an injury in that first match at home against Flint City AFC. We saw her have to come off a little bit early. Not really a like-for-like, more of a defensive player more so than Sydney Bloomquist is, but nonetheless a ton of quality, ton of time with the Iowa Hawkeyes before when she was playing collegiately, and comes onto this pitch with about 11 minutes more to see this game out as we are nearly at the 80th minute mark here at Legacy Sports Complex.
And so far it's been a really good testament of how this team has faced adversity after the brutal loss against Flint. The big question was, how do they respond to a loss like that on their home turf? And they've responded very well. Would like another goal, in the hunt for one, as they continue to chase and press. Service comes in. Francis not in front of her defender. And again, it's Donnelly with the strong header out. Now Antonio looking to get something for Cleveland. Showing a little bit of skill there. Finding Machka, and it's just not able to get the feet of her. You could see the idea what the idea was from Antonio to Machka, but again, the side-to-side ball movement has not been super effective for this away team. Karolak prancing a little forward.
Danny Steffen, really impressive play in the midfield, out wide to Poole now.
Good overlapping run and a nice read there from Peters. Now into the box, Francis again. Not on the end of it, but you could see a great bit of play there. Able to connect. It started with a Poole overlapping run, then the feet of Peters. How can she find Poole?
And even though that didn't end up in a goal-scoring chance, I think that's my favorite play, bit of play from Detroit City FC so far this season. You saw it come in from deeper in the midfield. You saw it go out wide, back inside of the box. A clever layoff to the run from wide, and just a little bit too late to it was Adele Francis, but still a good job to be in that position and be near that position to anticipate it. Something that Francis will add to her game once she plays more, gets more experience, and that sort of offense, that quick-paced offense, 1-2 passes. We'll see a lot from her in Jeff Hostler's attack next season at Michigan State.
And you can kind of see there another testament of how strong this DCFC defense is. Karolak stepped, wasn't able to get it.
It's going to go out of play for a throw-in. It's like Emily Gardner's going to go over to get it. Trying to spur the side forward yet again. 8.5 minutes remain plus stoppage time here from the Legacy Sports Complex. Another goal would do a ton for the Pride Raiser campaign this year. Get that total over $20,000. We're all rooting for that.
Certainly, and it was a flick header there from Bryn Gardner. Nobody on the end of it. But Steffen, what a lovely bring down that was. Finding the feet of Poole. Now Gardner. Steffen again showing why she deserves to be in this starting 11 and stay on the field as well.
Great job by Poole to create the space before putting it back out wide against the numberless defender. As Avery Peters does a good job to chest it down,
Peters still with the ball, taking it all the way down to the touchline. Great tackle there. Now with the ball, Francis still trickling in off the couple of heads of the Cleveland defenders I think Poole wanted a call there, not going to get it. Nice battle out, but it will be called. Frustration on the face of Bryn Gardner.
And while we haven't really seen Francis get on the end of too many attacking opportunities, not really too many clear shots at goal, she's been absolutely everywhere on the pitch for the 83 minutes she's been on so far, was involved in the scramble that led to the Detroit City FC goal. A really impressive performance out of the young forward. That one's just booted up, and Duncan's going to head it down. Francis there yet again involved in the play, even though, again, it didn't really come off, but just still so involved in everything that Detroit City FC has been trying to do this evening.
And a nice battle there from Ramacone. Now it's Ramacone and Antonio on the chase. A tackle coming from behind for Stefan. Referee says it's a fair tackle, and it was. She got a lot of the ball. Manchka playing out wide. Service in Stefan again. Oh, ricochets off of Peters. Looks to be okay. And Cleveland not amounting, the attack not amounting to anything dangerous yet. Now Antonio beating her defender, playing it in. Do Cleveland have an opportunity? Broken up.
Wow. That was a great turn inside of the Detroit City FC box. An even better tackle by Lexi Smith, and it really needed to be, or else Cleveland would have had a clean look at goal right there. A really impressive few minutes out of Cleveland right here, their best of the game so far.
They're almost coming to life at a time that DCFC don't want them to. Like I said, it's these closing minutes, Jared. It's the last 10 minutes. How can DCFC close this one? And for Cleveland, how can they get something going? But nothing there as it goes out for a goal kick. DCFC have an opportunity to catch their breath with about 5.5 minutes left to play, plus stoppage time.
And they'll need it. It was two incredible tackles there on that sequence. First, Danny Stefan had to make the tackle. She was up to the cause for sure. She doesn't get down. Cleveland have 2-on-1 attacking Dayton Waymer's net. And then it was Lexi Smith who did well to see that ball tackled away before it's able to come back for a goal kick from Dayton Waymer. So Detroit City FC, sigh of relief right there, but job's not finished yet. A couple more minutes before these 3 points are officially going up on the table.
Duncan with the ball. Oh, and a great ball at that. Finding the feet of Poole. Twisting, turning on Donnelly. Ricochets off of her all the way out for a corner kick.
And on that occasion, it was a great ball by Duncan over the top to Poole, sort of bypassing the midfield. She had Francis up with her, but Poole only had one thing on her mind, receiving that ball in that position. I got to shoot, get it on target, deflects out for a corner. I'm not sure who's going to run down there to take it, considering Sydney Bloomquist is off of the pitch. Might be Danny Stefan running down there as Detroit City FC have a player. I think Madison Duncan just had a little bit of cramp in her leg right there. But it'll be Danny Stefan on corner kick duties on this occasion.
A player of her caliber. We'll see what kind of service she brings in. With Bloomquist off, Stefan has been tapped to take the corner. Service goes in.
Wow. From a depth perception point of view, from us up here, I thought maybe that was one of the better goals we'd ever seen here for Detroit City FC, but it goes a little bit over the touchline there, and there was a genuine moment of confusion looking around who's going to take this corner now that our usual specialist is off, but Stefan was up to the task, and fortunately that one trickles out of play.
Powerful header there from Moore. Karolak giving chase. Test her luck from way outside. Waymer was way off her line. Almost got, if Ramacone could put that one on net, it could have been really ugly for DCFC. So really fortunate there not to get a goal.
And you see what Ramico was trying to do right there. She had every right to take on that shot. Waymer just a little bit too far off of her line. And not only that, the angle that Waymer was standing at would have made it hard for her to get back and cover that left side of her post. Her right side, left for us. But unfortunately for her, that shot was way off target. And Detroit City FC still holding on to this clean sheet. Francis calling for this ball. Bryn Gardner elects to run at the defender herself. Can't really get past two of them, though.
Again, just running through too many bodies. Can't beat them all. Nice read there by Karolak all the way back to Waymer. Giving chase Antonio. How about it? But Antonio might be called for offsides, and she will be.
kind of take some of the sting out of the Cleveland attack that they had building right there. It's been a really impressive final 10 minutes here from Cleveland, their best spell of the possession so far this evening.
And you got to argue that for the away team, it's coming back. It's coming a little too late, as referee tells Waymer a little bit forward there.
And I mentioned, one more goal, that Pride Raiser total is going to get over $20,000. You can help that if you're sitting at home watching this match. You can go to prideraiser.org, find the Northern Guard Supporters Campaign, donate, support the Ruth Ellis Center, and make another goal even more valuable here as Francis is driving.
Francis gets the cross off to a wide open Poole. Poole tested her luck and just sails over the goal. Poole with almost too much time and space.
I mean, Poole was in the space there. She had the touch. I was just talking about what that goal could have meant for the Ruth Ellis Center right there. Had the time, had the space. A great job by Francis to recognize the situation there. Takes one look over at her and sees that her teammate is wide open. We'll see it again here. Poole did a great job to chest it down. The keeper really wasn't rushing out. She didn't really have to rush that one too much, but nonetheless sails over, and Detroit City FC are unable to find their second. But as I was saying, prideraiser.org, find the Northern Guard Supporters Campaign, donate to it. It's per goal. Currently the total is at 5 goals in the month of June. So you know what you'll be on the hook for if this scoreline holds to a great organization like the Ruth Ellis Center.
Certainly, and going back to that play with Poole, a lot of times especially with younger players, it's, how much time are you left with, and sometimes it really gets to you. And in your head you have the time, you have the space, but then you overthink and you overshoot. Cleveland are in DCFC's final third. Not a place you want to be if you're the home team, looking to close this one out. Now less than a minute plus stoppage time.
With the subs that we've seen from Detroit City FC, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw at least 4 minutes of stoppage time. Here in real life, I'm seeing the fourth official reach for the board down there. Gonna find out here any second with the subs, with the stoppages. No goals to speak of, but a couple of set pieces have taken place here. That'll all add up the minutes, add up the seconds, as Detroit City FC looking to hold on to a 1-0 win, but would love a second goal to make things absolutely certain here at the Legacy Sports Complex here in Brighton, Michigan. 2 minutes of added time gonna go up on the board here to end the second half of play.
See a ball played up top by Duncan. Francis giving chase. But it's Medvecki who comes to collect. And Francis has been so hungry for a goal, even for assist, to be involved in the play as much as she has. She's got to be absolutely exhausted. Peters putting some pressure on Cleveland on the right-hand side. Matchka looking to get something going for her team, trying to create an opportunity, plays it inside, still with the ball. Now Matchka again has been so dynamic on and off the ball, crosses it in, and sails past. Cleveland players shouting for a corner. Looks like they'll get one. DCFC really just looking to close this one out. Cleveland coming to life.
And I'm a little bit surprised the goalkeeper's not coming forward here. Really nothing to lose for Cleveland. I believe this is their last match, if not their second to last. But nonetheless, corner comes in. Doesn't really do too much danger. Had a chance at it there before. It's just absolutely booted away from Stefan. Medvecki stayed home on that occasion. It's going to go all the way back to her. And as the seconds tick away here, Francis might have won something there. It'll be Poole now. Medvecki's off of her line. If she can look up and spot it, I believe Francis was just onside right there. Not too sure that AR was totally set in that decision right there. Sort of hesitated just a little bit. Francis, I thought, might have been just onside, but nonetheless, another opportunity gone for Detroit City FC.
Just a little too eager to get on the end of it, and Cleveland holding a high line. They didn't have the numbers to come back. Now Waymer comes way off her line to collect. Now,
as the seconds tick away, again, I just want to thank everybody for tuning into this match. It's been absolutely incredible all season here in the USLW League, and my thoughts are going to be interrupted here by a possible Cleveland counterattack. Back into the hands of Waymer.
In no hurry to take this one, certainly. As DCFC just waiting on the center official to call this one. that goes over the head of Donnelly, giving Chase's Poole. Little 3-on-3 situation, not a good clearance. Poole with the bring down. Now Gardner. And just a little more on that, and Francis would have found herself in a really favorable position, and that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody watching at home, DCFC 1, Cleveland Force SC 0. Jarrett?
Yeah, it was a really impressive match from Detroit City FC, and while they only scored 1 goal, it wasn't really the case where it was anything in it. We see a great performance here out of number 52, Adele Francis, the woman of the match this evening. She was all over the pitch for 90 minutes, didn't really get on the end of too many opportunities, but she ran the 90 minutes. She was involved in the goal for Detroit City FC. She was up and down the pitch. A total performance from her. Really excited to see what she brings to MSU this upcoming fall.
Certainly, and it was Addison who scored the winning goal, and it was DCFC who looked really sound all game. Cleveland coming to life a little bit in the final minutes, but a little too late for their liking, and DCFC will walk away with a nice win here at the Legacy Center. Fans coming out to show their support for the home team.
Detroit City FC picks up another 3 points in their last home game of the season. Detroit City FC was sort of an up and down year at home. A lot of unfortunate mistakes that maybe could have gone another way had things changed. But nonetheless, ending it on a strong note here, picking up a 1-0 victory over the Cleveland Force. All season, it's been an absolute pleasure to bring you these broadcasts alongside Veronica Bolanos. Incredible shout out to our production crew, our camera guys, for making this work in such a tight window out here in Brighton. Thanks to them all season for getting us looks, and thanks to you guys for tuning in. Full-time, 1-0 here from Legacy Sports Complex. I've been Jarrett Mackey alongside Veronica Bolanos. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.